Hello, and welcome to the very first The Carol Duvall Show. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about it. And not only of all the things that we're going to be doing with all our cutting and our gluing and our crafting. In fact, we have several things lined up today. We're going to be doing topiaries, we're going to be writing on the wall, and we're going to have a lot of time in which to do it. But what at this very moment I am probably the most excited about is the kitchen. I can only borrow it for a little while every day to live in for the show, but it's pretty good for that. And the living room and the workroom, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a tour. So hang in there. We'll be along in just a minute to do that. If any part of this kitchen looks familiar to you, it may be that you saw it in Country Living's magazine, this wonderful, wonderful kitchen that now we are seeing here in 3D. And while everybody's been going around oohing and eyeing and say, I want to take it home with me, we really don't appreciate some of the things that it's made of. And so we have the lady here, Nancy Soriano, who is Country Living's home building and architecture editor. And Nancy's going to be our official guide. Come on in, Nancy, and take us around this.
Hi, Carol.
Every woman in the world wants a wonderful kitchen.
I know. Kitchens are our most popular section in the magazine. And when we were designing this, we were very excited because we based it on Shaker design, which is classically American, and very, very much a favorite design of American country. And we decided to update it. We used classic Shaker elements, the peg rail, the cabinetry, function and
cabinetry. I mean, this is like, it's so smooth it's not even going to get dust.
I know, it's all solid cherry, and what we did to sort of make it warmer and bring it into people's lives today is we used a red and a butternut stain on the cherry. So it has a very warm, inviting, earthy feeling to it. And then we carried that out with the peg rails, which go around the entire space.
Oh, we have them down here.
Down here. Now, these were classic Shaker elements, and they use them either to dry herbs, to hang things. I mean, today you can use them decoratively to dry your herbs or whatever. If you're by the sink, you put your mitts up there. I mean, they're great. You can use them.
It's so funny because we were talking about this, and then we're going to have this pegboard, and I thought, what is a pegboard? You know, one of those things with all the holes in it.
Right.
That's the pegboard, a board with pegs on it.
Exactly, exactly.
And of course, this kitchen. Well, I mean, the sink is, I wouldn't even mind a sink full of dishes.
Yeah, this sink is from Kohler, and we just fell in love with it. The black works beautifully with the black throughout the kitchen.
It's so big. I mean,
it's like a double. It is a double-sized sink, but without the center border. Exactly. It's a European-style sink. The apron is front, you know, shows in the front, so it's great because it functions really well again, but it also looks fabulous.
Well, for anybody that has a small child, gosh, up to the age of 2, they could bathe them in here.
Yeah,
really. Now,
true.
when you say European style, what do you mean?
Well, you would see these types of sinks in European farmhouses. And
you mean the big ones like this?
The big ones, and with the front apron showing. The sinks that we're normally used to seeing are mounted on top of the countertop or under-mounted. But here, it plays an important part in the design of the overall look. It's not only
is that big, but my gosh, you could have a family of 12 with this range.
Well, what we did here, we used KitchenAid's 6-burner range, actually 4 burners in a center area to grill, and it has a downdraft, so you don't need a vent overhead. And it's great because you can be cooking, you can be talking with your children, you can be entertaining, you can have people around the island. I mean, it's an open family space.
Great.
So.
Now, the thing of it is, okay, as I say, everybody's been saying, oh, I love this kitchen, I want to take it home with me. But my space isn't that big. Can you have these? I mean, this is humongous and it's wonderful, but not everybody has this kind of room.
You can modify it. We worked with Play-Doh Woodworking in Minneapolis, and they did all the woodworking and cabinetry here. And if someone saw this kitchen and loved it and said, I want this, but if they lived in a small apartment or a 1,200 square foot home, they could call Play-Doh and have it be modified to fit their configuration.
So this could maybe only be this wide if they wanted it.
Exactly. It could be more shallow and narrower.
I want to talk about, I love the way the counter and the back, the tile back there working beautifully.
One of the things that we wanted to do was to bring Shaker into people's lives today. So we went with rich, earthy colors. We used Wilson Art solid surfacing Gibraltar countertop. And then we accented it with 4-inch square black and white tile, so the colors are the same throughout the space, and so there's a lot of continuity.
Now what did you call this?
Solid surfacing by Wilson Art.
Now I thought that was a description. It's not. It's a name.
No, what's solid? Exactly.
Okay.
Solid surfacing means that it's a synthetic acrylic material, normally a resin, and it means that the color is solid throughout. And often people use it in place of stone, because it has a very similar look and feeling to stone.
Do you have to be careful not to drop your dishes?
Well, you have to be careful about scratching. It's a highly durable and very practical surface, but if it scratches, which it will, you can just use a compound and scratch it right out.
Better to have in a lighter color then if you scratch a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you know. I absolutely think this is the cutest doggone thing over here.
What we did here is it's a false front grain bin, and there's storage inside.
I hope you can see that. Yes, they can.
It's great, and you can put anything in here.
I would fill it with jelly beans in there, and then the big bag of jelly beans back here.
And one thing that's also great about the kitchen is there's tons of storage throughout in all the cabinetry.
I'd have to label things for a while because there are so many. And this, you're going to die. Do you know what this is? Certainly you've guessed. But really, when I told people, some of them around here were talking to me, I said, I'd put it in the refrigerator on the set. Nobody knew where the refrigerator was.
That's great. That's the idea. This is these are custom panels that Play-Doh made for the refrigerator. Now, you can do this with any refrigerator that takes custom panels. And the idea is just what you said, to blend in with the cabinetry.
Well, it's wonderful. Now, there's one other little surprise out here. First of all, as you can see on the big front of this, all these wonderful cupboards, more places to put things. But this is not a drawer.
This is a table, a pull-out table.
Great. You know, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, that's really cute, but you know, why? Then we sat down here the other day and had coffee.
Yeah, it's great.
Just nifty.
And again, this island and this table was based actually on a shaker workshop table. And we decided to add this pull-out table because not everybody needs a table all the time.
It's great. Come on, let's go into the next room. But, you know, we've got even a place there to keep wine, our $1.98 wine, and that wonderful. Here in the next room, we have...
Surprise!
We have Allie Mills, is who we have. Hi, from the Wonder Years.
Congratulations on your first show.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Nancy.
You know, I knew you were coming, but I didn't know you were coming with champagne and balloons.
Of course, to celebrate your opening.
Isn't this a kick, though?
Oh, it's beautiful. I want that kitchen, Nancy. What do I have to do to get it?
Get in line for heaven's sake.
I know.
Now, Allie's going to hang around for the rest of the tour. You are.
I definitely
It's
am.
going to be a very costly show for you. If you want to take the kitchen, you're going to want to take this too. Anyway, and we also have some crafts coming up, so don't go away. Cheers. And then there were three, and who's joined us here is Allie Mills, and I'm sure that many of you remember her best as Norma Arnold, Kevin's mom, in the Wonder Years. And of course, Allie and I struck up our friendship on the Home Show. And Nancy Soriano is back with us on this segment. Nancy from Country Living's home building and architecture editor, she is. Now, I noticed, we all did, in the kitchen, and I don't know if you saw it or not, Allie, the writing on the wall.
Oh, I've been studying the kitchen. I'm
Yes,
going to own that
that's
kitchen,
right,
so I know
that's
the writing on the walls. I know every little nook and
Now,
cranny of it.
this writing is from the Craftsman period, right? And I know that there are a lot of other rooms that I've seen pictures of that we have here to show you that it's not just our idea. Here are some other rooms with photographs of rooms with the writing on the wall.
What you can do, there's...
I thought there would be anyway. I thought there would be. Okay. Believe me, they're writing on the wall. There you go. Okay.
Oh, I like that. Never face the facts.
Right.
Nothing is ever my fault is something I'd like to put up on the walls. Okay, here's another style. But all different styles and done in different ways. How do you do this, Nancy?
Well, you know, we're seeing a lot of this. This is something that's very old, but that's coming back, and it's a trend. Now, there are several ways you can do it. If you're extremely talented and able with your hands, you can trace it and then paint it right
Carol.
on the wall.
I can trace it, sure.
I certainly wouldn't do that. But there are people who can. However, for most of us, some of the best ways to do it are to either take stencils and to actually sketch the pattern or the letters and the saying out on the wall and then paint it in yourself. You can go to a sign shop and get vinyl letters and just peel them right off and adhere them.
Which are my stuff. That's like the big ones over here that we have, huh?
And that's pretty much similar to what we did in the kitchen.
I didn't know they came that big.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, couldn't you also take these and if you can find the letters you like, but not the size, and just have them a Xerox?
Absolutely, and then you could cut them out and you could sketch them out on the wall and then paint it in. Another thing you can use is now there are these new projectors.
This little tracer, yes.
So what you do is you sort of put the lettering that you want underneath the projector.
Which I have done here.
Right.
Okay.
And then you
I hope this
put it on the
something like-
wall, essentially.
Turn
and
the
then
lights off.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
And
Now
then
the-
you trace.
And like a slide machine, at the farther away it is, the bigger the
bigger it
letters
gets.
get.
Exactly.
You have a lot of uses for this little
Yeah.
machine.
So
I
So
would
just
like
do this
that.
right onto the wall.
You do it right onto the wall, and it's really great because you can do it in any room, in any decor.
But you know, I was reading an article about this. In fact, I read several articles that actually, particularly if you did something like this, you can paint it really right on canvas.
That's
And then put the
absolutely.
canvas up, and then
Absolutely.
in fact what they did was they painted the canvas to look like the paint on the wall, so
Right.
that it was a fooler.
Right.
And you notice what my clever folks
Yes.
around here did? They put my motto up there: score before folding. I'm always saying that. You know, don't forget to score before folding. And I have
Such
a feeling.
a strange motto, Carol. I mean, can we talk about score before folding?
Fast enough, Alan, you'll know. I've taken a lot of kidding, but I think those are all just the those are the
Yeah,
vinyl.
I think those are the vinyl letters that are just peeled
peel
up
them
and
off
put right
and
on.
stick them on there.
And they're great.
I love
look
this
great.
idea, but now we do have to teach the children, though. That doesn't mean that gives them free
No.
free reign.
No.
No, but it's great for kids' rooms because then they can paint their own stuff and, but just tell them only in
That's
their
it,
room.
only in their
They can
room.
write as much as they
only on
want.
this part of the wall.
I should mention, by the way, that this little machine is around $70, and I think that's kind of nifty. Now, I'm not going to be writing on the walls, but I want you guys to write on my chair cover here, and this is what I have my guests do in gold pens.
Is this going to wash out?
Better not. I'll probably. Now be careful where you write your name. Anyway,
All right, then I'll write
Allie
it.
goes really to work with us in our next segment because we're going to do topiary trees with. Oh, you bet I can read that. I'll go over it with black markers too. So don't go away. We won't. You remember that?
I just definitely remember it.
This was a picture that I took of Allie one of the many times that she was on the home show with us, and I made this clock for her. It was the ugliest looking clock ever.
I have things of yours all over my house, Carol. And I have to tell you, I took my husband to meet my 102-year-old grandmother in New Hampshire, and she was sitting there wearing that sweatshirt that she painted. Do you remember we painted her face? And she said, bring me some jewels of your grandmother's, and we put little jewels on it. And there's my 102-year-old grandmother sitting there in New Hampshire with this sweatshirt that Carol made, and she met my husband to be like
And
that.
I'm sure he was impressed.
He was impressed.
So when we started out, I said, Allie, the reason we're doing the kind of things we're doing on these topiary trees is because I know that you like old things.
Like my husband.
I am not going to listen. I remember your husband so well.
he's
I was
so great.
I mean,
He's a
Orson
few
Bean is
years
so
older
mu-
than me.
I'm a great fan of Orson.
So
I'm not,
am I.
I am not going to refer to his age, let me
Okay.
tell you that. You think it's funny because you're not 64. Anyway.
She just referred to it.
Anyhow, I know that they did say that you collect a lot of old things when you go to antique shows and
Do you remember I
junk
did that
shows.
antique junk stuff on the home
Yes,
show too?
okay.
Yeah, I love junk.
So we're taking some of the junk and making some beautiful topiary trees, since those are a big deal. And we're starting with a styrofoam ball, which those of you who've made topiaries know is usually the basis of them, and just a plain clay pot. But I got to tell you, Allie, if you're going to go home and try any of this, we discovered that sometimes in some of these clay pots, if you mix up the plaster of Paris, which is what you do to make it stay there.
In the pot?
Don't do it in the pot.
Don't do it in the pot.
No, do it maybe.
It comes out the hole in the bottom.
Sometimes the pots will crack as it sets because the plaster is inclined to expand. So do it like maybe in the top of a plastic, spray can or something like that, and then you can put it in here and weight it down.
So that's
okay?
all you need is just this much kind of
Just
plaster.
something
You don't
so
need
that-
a hole.
Well, then no, that's right, you don't. Anyway, plaster of Paris, of course, is what we use, and then you can put in, moss. So you can put in real dirt if you want to, anything to weight it down. And of course, this is just a wooden doll from the hardware store, and the whole thing we spray paint. However, when you spray paint, and we didn't always do this, you should use one of these that you can buy at any paint store, actually. Not one of these little masks, these are just like for dust, but one of these, which gives you a clue that this is not something you want the kids playing with, spray
This
paint.
looks like Silence of the Lambs.
Isn't that? It does. And always spray in a box or something like this, so only you in the box will get it all.
Does this cost a lot of money?
I don't really know how much was this. Do you remember, Gal?
It's attractive, isn't it?
Because I try not to use spray paint if I don't. Oh, I think it's you, Al. Wonderful. Okay. Now, all these flowers. You did say you had a bunch of fake flowers
I have
and things.
drawers of old silk flowers and pearls.
To make them look old, in case they're not, and a lot of those that you collect are, you can, as the girls did, first of all, spray this with some antique white paint or something to make it look dark. We thought about we were going to dye them in tea.
Oh, yeah.
But if they're polyester, they will not take any kind of a dye. Maybe if they're real silk, they might, but they will not take a dye. So instead, spray paint.
They'll take a match.
Spray paint. Yeah.
Polyester.
Just $40 for that mask. We just found out.
Oh,
$40.
right.
So you want to do a lot.
That's actually reasonable.
Okay. Anyhow, and then to antique it, pull it up like this, and again with a little bit of paint, spray paint. Like wear gloves or something unless you're gonna. Anyway, and that you see makes the edges a little dark and a little old looking and stuff. Now then, you can take these and jam them right into the styrofoam. Which we've already done over here. And I know when some of the girls were working on these, they used a little bit of hot glue to make sure they would stay. I usually just use white glue. I make the whole stick of the white glue.
Is hot glue something you have to have a gun for?
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, they're great, except that I'm always dribbling all over the place, so I use them only when I have to. But I want you to see some of these now. Some of these wonderful things made with, you know, all sorts of junk jewelry and things. Of course, this is some of that beautiful ribbon that's on the market now.
Expensive.
Wound, yes, it is.
Very beautiful.
But isn't this a pretty topiary?
You know what I was thinking, Carol? Because I just got married, and you know, fresh flower arrangements are incredibly expensive, but these would be beautiful if you make one. You know, at your big table of 8 or 10. I mean, they're beautiful.
Yes, they would absolutely be wonderful.
With all white, you know, and cherubs
and you don't have
lace
to worry about the flowers, you know, drooping before they're supposed to. Yes, do things like this on them with these strands. And these are just strands of pearls from the craft store. This one is done with tulle. You could do it with white nylon tulle, and this is just, you know, a whole strand bunched up and then jammed in like this, or even with a spot of glue on there. And here's one done with raffia. So you get a whole bunch of, and you know what? Those are not just dried roses that you have to do. That's potpourri dumped up there.
With glue?
Just spray glue and some potpourri.
And what you do, wrap straw?
And we have to wrap right now too.
We do?
Well, that's
Speaking of
raffia.
wrapping
Right. We'll be back. Don't go away. Okay, you have something you'd like to say to us, something really wonderful and nice, or you want a videotape to send us, you have some ideas, some crafts, whatever, you can write to the Carol Duvall Show, Home and Garden Television Network. That's Post Office Box 50970 in Knoxville, Tennessee, 37950. And if you didn't get it all today, we'll give it to you again another day. But right now, we have to get into the great Etch-a-Sketch debate.
Contest.
Allie is here. We have had Nancy come back in. Nancy, since you are the guest here, why don't you try? Now, I understand from what you've told me anyway, that you were really, you really are good at Etch-a-Sketch. She just
I did this in 5 seconds. Can you read it?
So you're a very good Etch-a-Sketcher. I take it you're locked into the old version then.
I'm a 50s baby. We had these in the 50s, and I was obsessed with them.
Nancy, try this. Do you see
she was born in 1980.
So she doesn't know about, but look at you, notice what's happening here? She's got a purple pen in there, and she's writing in purple, and she's making a design that, when it's all finished, unlike yours, Allie, which will disappear, she can take this piece of paper out and have
That's the whole thing, is that then it's gone. That's the magic of it, Carol. That was our favorite thing.
I know.
Grab it away from your sister and go like this.
And then your mother would kill you if you broke it and got the mercury all over that you played. I know.
Can you change the pen?
Yeah, now can you lift that up? Now, yeah, okay. And it'll sound like you're breaking it, but go ahead, lift it all the way up there. It always makes that noise. Okay. Now you can put a different pen in there, different colors. You can do all sorts of designs and then color them in. Anyway, just to let you know, for those of you anytime, especially you're taking car trips or you've got the kids home sick or whatever, this is a new Etch-a-Sketch, and it's about $15.
Older is better.
Well, that's what I always say, and I'm sure Orson does too. Okay. Now, here's a nifty little thing from Walnut Hollow. They make all these wonderful wooden items for your craft work, for all sorts of neat things. And this is one of their latest. It's a flower pot hanger, as you can see. and then you paint it, you decorate it, you do whatever you want with it, and it costs $6. Isn't that
Look
cute?
at that.
Yeah.
Can
I think
you have
that's-
something heavy in here?
Yes, you can, sure.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I think they're kind of nifty too. Anyway, Walnut Hollow, and remember they are in Dodgeville, Wisconsin. If you can't find this at your craft store, you can write to them or contact them because they do
You could
mail
paint
things.
this with all kinds of flowers on it.
Yes, you could, and,
Beautiful.
you could put decals on it or rub-ons if you're not an artist. But no, I think it's a nifty idea. Now we have these workstation books. Do we have time for the workstation books?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Oh, yes, we do. Thank you. Oh, see, Jeff does have a voice. Anyway,
stage manager.
Anyway,
Very
he is
cute.
These, I think these are really kind of a cute idea. This is for pressed flowers. Now, not only is there a book telling you all about how to press flowers and everything, but they have a little frame here. They have a lot of the tools. They don't have flowers in here, but you can use this as a flower press because these sheets back here are plain, and here are the screws. You press your flowers in here, close this up, put the screws in, and it's a flower press as well as a book. There are a bunch of other workstation books, and we'll get to them from time to time. Right now, they're priced from about $12 to $14, and they're from Stern Sloan, and we'll be back with a whole bunch of other stuff tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.